Hello friend, welcome to Physiotherapy Junoon channel and today's topic on cervical radiculopathy. We start what is the cervical radiculopathy sign? Cervical radiculopathy is a disease process marked by nerve compression from herniated disc or material arthritic bone spur. This impingement typically produces neck and radiating arm pain or numbness, sensory deficit or motor dysfunction in the neck and upper extremity. So overall cervical radiculopathy occur with pathologies that cause symptoms on the nerve root. Those can be compressed or you can say irritations, tractions, lesions to the nerve root caused by either a herniated disc or due to spondylitic changes like arthritis, degenerative changes, and this may lead to stenosis or of the intervertebral foramen. So radiculopathy, it may be unilateral, it may be bilateral too. So most cases you see that in initial there is a unilateral radiculopathy. So next is the radiculopathy with the patient have some symptoms, some areas where most of the affected sites like radiculopathy due to a definite protrusion of the nuclear material from the disc which is affecting a cervical nerve root or this area, you see here, this area, mainly cervical disc area, second cervical disc area, and this bulging. This may cause cervical bulging. It entrapped the nerve root area. So here disc and here is bulging. So it entrapped this and pain radiating through this from the cervical to the elbow, shoulder, elbow, and to the hand. The patient symptoms are often quite severe and muscle spasm may spread discomfort through a large area of the upper back. Effect upper back, this area and this area. So upper back area and full hand area. This may spread the pain. The patient are two types, okay, like patient symptoms are two types: a patient having only neck pain and patient having neck pain with radiating pain. But in some cases patient may not uh, complain about neck pain. Patient complain only and only radiating pain, so you have to diagnose it properly. Next is the subjective finding. In subjective finding, the age group is 35 to 55 year of age, because most of the degenerative changes are occur in this age group, and you see most of the changes in this age group of 35 to 55. Next is onset is often sudden onset with no any cause. Patient just wake up early in the morning and complained about very severe neck pain, and sometime patient pain is radiating, so patient complained about neck pain early morning. In many cases, the patient will state that the woke with the pain in the morning that started very soon after rising. These complain in onset. So onset of pain is sudden onset, no known cause, and age is 35 to 55. What is the duration? The severity of symptoms and fact that they are functionally very limiting often means that the patient is seen within a matter of days following onset of the condition. So patient having some degenerative changes uh, uh, in the past, okay, and patient suddenly feel pain, okay, and due to that patient have some condition of neural entrapment. So patient condition is severe when patient comes to you in second or third day also. Frequency common for a patient to have a history of previous neck pain, often with no arm symptom or with only minor symptoms compared to present episode. And next is the area of symptoms, which is very important. Felt throughout the cervical region, but will far worse on one side. Cervical region and one side pain. Symptoms in the arm will unilateral in distribution, one side only, and felt anywhere from the shoulder to the fingers. So shoulder, elbow, fingers, anywhere in the shoulder to the fingers. Symptoms are also often felt around over the scapula on the affected side. So on the scapular region of the affected side. So if right side is affected, then whole this posterior part of scapula is show the symptoms. The distribution of arm symptom will often be specific to the area supplied by affected nerve of uh, the dermatome or nerve root, where the nerve root is supplying the area that will affect it. So you have to aware about which nerve entrapment, like here you see the example C5 and C6 cervical radiculopathy, and C5 C6 radiculopathy radiating pain pattern. So you have to find out which disc bulge and which nerve root is entrapped. Types of symptom. Types of symptom: sharp pain felt over the neck and arm. The neck, shoulder, girdle often stiff due to pain, due to muscular spasm is there, and patient is not moving the neck and the shoulder. So sometime maybe due to that patient having stiff shoulder girdle, and a symptom may felt in the arm, paresthesia, numbness, and most common factors. So and symptoms are localized to specific dermatome also, specific muscle also. So dermatome and myotomes are very important in this area. Next is the objective finding. In objective finding, what we observe, the patient often represent with the neck held in either a degree of flexion. So patient showing some degree of flexion with the held in either degree or side flexion away from the affected side. So this is the affected side flexion is away from the affected side, or combination of the two. Lateral shift of the spine, lateral shifting of the spine. So spine is like this, lateral shifting of the spine. If pain is there, patient shifted to this side. Observe when viewing the patient from the rear. Active movements. I already done a video on active movements, so you can watch full video on YouTube. What are the active movements? What if active movements are affected? What are the side effects? What are the pathologies and some symptoms? And what are the disease may be due to, if flexion is active movement, active flexion is stiff, or active extension is stiff, what are the disease to the patient? So you can watch that video. Active movement in this condition, there is usually one movement that is not only pain free, but that also tend to relieve either the sorry either the neck symptoms or both. Most commonly this is side flexion away from affected side, and less commonly it can rotational away from the affected side. So most commonly is the side flexion part, and less commonly is the rotation part. Side flexion to the affected side is usually limited because muscle spasm is there, and there is some anfield also, because there is some pathological changes inside the cervical vertebra produce immediate increase in both neck and arm symptoms. Flexion extension will both limited, with either one or both of these movements producing neck and arm symptoms. Rotation to the affected side also exaggerate neck and arm symptoms, but usually less problem than other movement describes. So rotation is to the affected side may increase the symptoms. So in next, passive movement. Passive movement, all the pattern are same, because uh, the active movement done by the patient, and passive movement done by the physiotherapist. And when we are doing the movement passive testing, we find that the restrictions are same, like in rotation, flexion, extension. A springy block may be noted at the end raise, either flexion, rotation, or affected side. A solid block of muscles may be elicited on side flexion to the affected side. Registered movements. In registered movements, isometric testing of the cervical spine and shoulder girdle does not usually produce noticeable system. So in registered movement, in isometric testing, you see that no any noticeable change. Registered flexion of the cervical spine may produce discomfort in the neck, and particularly when resistance is strongly applied, there may be some symptoms will worse. On palpation, there are often various tender points. So first you have to find out the tender points, and for tender points you can see my video on the trigger point therapy. So it's very good video, and if you watch full video, then you are able to find out the trigger points very easily. In the sides of the cervical spine, bilaterally, upper trapezius, around the medial border of the scapula, and affected side. Loss of sensation may be found in the arm, usually over the site of the specific dermatome. So dermatomes are very very important. Cervical nerve root. So here some dermatome level. C1, top of the head, sorry, registered cervical rotation. C2, temple, shoulder shrugs. C3, lateral neck, shoulder shrugs. C4, top of the shoulders, shoulder shrugs. So here are some dermatome and myotome. You can find out which if the C1 is affected, then triceps tendon reflexes are affected, myotomes which are affected, dermatome which is affected. So you have to watch full this scenario on the YouTube. Causes. Cervical radiculopathy most often arise from degenerative changes that occurs in the spine. We from the age that causes a herniated disc, bulging, interval. These may cause degenerative changes and that cause the cervical radiculopathy. Physiotherapy. Most important is the treatment part. Physiotherapy, in my point of view, first you just start your goals. What are your goals for physiotherapy treatment? First you make short term goals, then long term goals. So in case of short term goals, so you have one thing in mind, that in short term goal, pain, range of motion at slight level, okay, and release trigger points, reduce muscle spasm, So reduce muscle spasm. First, for the pain, what you are using, I prefer for pain you can use IFT in radiating pattern. Placement of IFT, like this is red one, this is black one, this is red one, this is black one. So alternative, like one is on the cervical spine, this is on the cervical spine, then shoulder, then elbow, if pain is till elbow. Okay, next is the spasm or trigger point. You can use myofascial release technique, which is very helpful. Nowadays there are too many techniques, but if you are good enough doing myofascial release technique, then it's very good technique to for and the instant results. So myofascial release technique, you can use. Release the trigger points. First find out the trigger point, release. You can use some small ball, and just to and fro motion, not a circulatory motion over the trigger point. Okay, then use MFR, and then use ice, because if there is some like soft tissue injury, then it will heal automatically when you are giving ice to the patient. So and for ultrasound doses, you can find a video on my YouTube channel, that how you can decide that the doses of ultrasound. Next is the next in the treatment, if patient feeling like well, then you can use manual traction. First manual traction, then if patient feeling good, you proceed to the cervical mechanical traction, with measuring the weight of the patient. Okay, and then only give the traction. So first you find the exact weight of the patient. Next is the traction done. Then if patient symptoms centralized, what you can do, use diagonal pattern of IFT. Red one, black one, and here you use ultrasound. So it is the combination therapy. You combine IFT with the ultrasound. Calculate the proper doses of ultrasound and give it with the IFT. So it's very effective, and I use already use this for many patients, and it very helpful. So here is one research. This is a systemic trial, and effectiveness of manual physical therapy in treatment of cervical radiculopathy. So this is basically on the manual therapy in treatment of cervical radiculopathy. So the inclusion criteria is manual physical therapy. They just ran this is randomized clinical trial or systemic review. What is the objective? Review of the current literature. So current literature which is on the effectiveness of manual therapy are included in this study. So they included the research, and they found that four research are met the inclusion criteria, and on the basis of that they find a conclusion: a definitive treatment progression for treating cervical radiculopathy has not been developed. A general consensus exists in the literature that using manual therapy technique in conjunction with the therapeutic exercise is effective in regard to increasing function and active range of motion, while decreasing level of pain, disability. High quality RCTs featuring control group are necessary to establish clear and effective protocol and treatment of CR. So manual physical therapy, one case series also: cervical traction strengthening exercise, patient with cervical radiculopathy. So in this case series they given the cervical traction strengthening and exercise to the patient. And in this case series what they found, um, they the discussion part, the last part is discussion part. 91%, 10 out of 11 patients with cervical reticulopathy in this case series improve as defined by the patient classify their level of improvement as at least quite a bit better on the gross. Okay, gross, the scale global rating of change scale they used, and the follow up time is 6 months. And because cause and effective relationship cannot be inferred from a case series, follow-up randomized clinical trials should be performed to further investigate the effectiveness of manual therapy. So further research can be done on this for randomized clinical trial for more patients, because this is only a case series. So follow-up period also I think is too large, 6 months. And yeah, but results are very nice. So attraction and strengthening exercises are good. So here is the physiotherapy part, and I complete my full lecture on this cervical radiculopathy. I hope you learned something good in this video. Please like, share and subscribe my videos. Like, share, subscribe so that I can make more good videos on this. And if you if you subscribe my channel, then it will give me so much encouragement to do good work. And thank you so much. If any queries, any question in your mind, please use comment section. And you can also follow me on Instagram, on Dr. Vinita Physio, Dr. Vinita underscore physio. And physiotherapy Junoon is my Google website also, and physiotherapy Junoon is my Facebook page and YouTube page. You can follow me either on either platform. So thank you so much.